Once, a very long time ago, God decided to create a golden land on the earth, a place of peace and happiness. He called for the falcon, the deer and the cedar, instructing each to seek the best place for themselves. The falcon was looking for his place in the sky, the deer was searching on the ground, the cedar explored the underworld with its roots. Finally, they met in a mountainous country, where everyone felt good and free. Golden Land originated there where they met. No wonder that Altai bears the name Golden. The name originates from the Turkic alt, which means gold. Although generally speaking it is collateral, the main thing is the incredibly beauty of Altai, thanks to which it is compared with a precious metal. Its beauty and contrast distinguish the nature of this beautiful place. Dense coniferous forests may swiftly convert into desert and steppe landscapes. Small hills may convert into celestial ranges covered with the caps of snow, and lakes and rivers can change the color of different times of the year. Located in the geographical center of Asia, on the border of 4 states, a bright, diverse and charming mountainous country has become a center of attraction for researchers, naturalists, and just curious travelers from all over the world. They are attracted by a large quantity of natural monuments that tell us the geological history of this part of the planet, the unique flora and fauna of the region, and its ethnic identity. All these units are strives to preserve for future generations the Altai Geopark, converting a vast area of 14,500 square kilometers. The Altai Geopark was founded in 2015. It stretches a wide strip from the inflow of the Chuya River into the Katun River along the Chuyski Tract and almost to the border with Mongolia, making a bend towards Lake Teletska. 2 clusters are distinguished in the geopark: the Chuyski along the Chuyski Tract and the Chuya River, and Teletsky, which covers the lower part of the valley of the river Chuylishman and Lake Teletska to Korbu waterfall. The Altai Geopark allows you to combine natural and cultural heritage sites, infrastructure's element into a single functioning geopark system. Meeting the requirements of the UNESCO International Network of Geoparks, the Altai Geopark introduces natural attractions, unique archaeological sites, traditions, and lifestyle of the population of the Altai Mountains to its visitors. Visiting the Altai Geopark, the traveler travels through time by hundreds of millions of years ago. Indeed, this area looked differently before. About 600 million years ago, the Paleo-Asian Ocean reached here, an ancient vast basin located in the center of modern Asia. Ancient seamounts were created at its bottom by solidified lava flows that erupted from underwater volcanoes. Both the simple and more complex organisms lived in the water of the Paleo-Ocean. Then, they settled to the bottom and formed strata of silty deposits from their skeletons, which eventually became compacted and became limestone. The ancient ocean left the territory of Altai about 300 million years ago. The first mountains, formed because of the collision of the Russian and Siberian lithospheric plates, appeared on the terrain. Over tens of millions of years, the mountains of the Mesozoic and Paleogene gradually collapsed under the effect of the sun, water and wind. They turned to low elevations with wide river valleys covered with forests and numerous swamps and lakes. About 65 million years ago, high ranges and intermountain basins were formed in the Neogene because of uneven tectonic activity. Because of recent uplifts, the ancient folded mountains have turned into highly elevated stopped plateaus. The rivers cut through the outlying sections of the recent mountain masses with narrow and deep ravines. The relief again acquired a mountainous character, and the territory of Altai acquired an outlook almost similar to modern one. The history of this period is partially told by the unique variegated outcrops in the valleys of the Kizilchin and the Chiganozon rivers. In the Quaternary period, most of the mountainous country was repeatedly buried under a heavy panoply of ice. However, it was the late Pleistocene glaciation that gave the Altai ranges a few tens of thousands of years ago alpine view. At that time, glaciers advancing from the Kuraiski and Severochuyski ranges blocked the flow of the Chuya River, the main water artery of the modern Altai Geopark. A giant glacier-dammed lake was formed in the Chuya and the Kurai depressions, which existed for more than 5 millennia. The history of the existence of this huge reservoir was reconstructed by scientists from perfectly preserved lacustrine glacial deposits, the Chiganozon Valley, where year after year a thin suspension settled down to the bottom of the lake in the form of layers of clay. At the stage of glacial recession, the lake erupted with furious force, and 600 cubic kilometers of water rushed into the Arctic Ocean. The ancient catastrophe created a unique relief in the form of giant ripple marks in the Chuya and Katun valleys. However, the history of the Altai Mountains does not end. The formation continues even now. In the south of Altai, mountain ranges rise by an average of 1.5–2 centimeters per year, and active tectonics reminds of itself with frequently repeated earthquakes. One of the largest objects of the Altai Geopark, a seismic landslide in the valley of the Taltura River, formed instantly because of the strongest earthquake in the entire history of observation that occurred on 27 of September 2003. It's impossible to imagine Altai without mountain rivers, streams and springs, covering the entire territory of this amazing region like a blood circulatory system. Saturating the air with purity and freshness, water creates unique landscapes and nourishes all living things, becoming the main factor in the natural abundance, the beauty of the Altai Geopark. The Altai water path starts from the ocean. Under the influence of solar heat, it evaporates and moves towards Eurasia. Having reached the Altai Mountains, humid air meets with an obstacle and begins to gradually rise upwards, where humidity condenses into heavy drops of water and falls in the form of rain or snow. After each snowfall, the snow compacts. Over several centuries, snow changes its structure and gradually turns into ice. This is how glaciers are formed. Slowly flowing down the valleys, the ice finds itself in a thermal zone, begins to melt with the onset of spring, water flows in streams from the mountains and merges into rivers, and their waters again flow into the ocean. Some humidity seeps into the soil, replenishing the groundwater table, but eventually it also returns to the ocean. A special place in the heritage of this amazing region is the lake Teletska, which is truly called the Pearl of Altai. Clean, fresh water and deep, surrounded by rich taiga forests, it creates a unique landscape, giving this region incredible beauty. Being tectonic in origin, the lake receives 70 rivers, many of which form cascades of beautiful waterfalls. The main tributary is the Chulushman River, which flowing in the south brings 70% of the water of this reservoir. Altai State Biosphere Reserve is located on the right bank of the lake Teletska, the Chulushman River, and in its upper reaches. Its border runs along the middle of the lake, giving tourists an opportunity to visit this incredibly beautiful place. Invisible to the eye, underestimated and huge part of the water of the higher mountainous part of Altai burnt loose soils with ice for many centuries. Degrading, permafrost rocks quickly forced the modern relief to change. Thermokarst lakes, frost mound, and cryogenic landslides are formed. The treasures of various archaeological cultures, buried many centuries ago, are stored in the frozen ground as in a natural refrigerator. For many millennia, on the territory of the modern Altai Geopark, one era replaced another, and left behind the creations of man, starting with the people of the Stone Age, continuing with the Afanasyevs, Pazyryks, Wallachs, Huns, Turks, and Dzungars. One thing is invariable: their way of life is inseparably linked with the mountains, and Altai itself keeps the secrets of its inhabitants. Some explored mysteries, such as the finds of the Pazyryk archaeological culture, shocked the whole world and are not inferior in significance to the finds of Egyptian tombs. Anyone can touch part of the messages of our ancestors in an attempt to solve them. But many ancient mysteries are still safely hidden in the lands bound with the centuries-old ice. People changed, states changed, and by the 17th century the main Altai clans were formed as they accepted the citizenship of the Russian Empire. The economy and beliefs of the Altaians have changed little since then. They are still engaged in hunting and cattle breeding, and the importance of the clan to which you belong is difficult to overestimate. Most modern Altaians know their tribal identity.
Это кочевники будешь, где зимуют, где весенний, где осенний, где летний, да, вот. Обычно они тогда, традиция была, да, связана с животноводством. Видишь, чем они вот питались, жили, это быт жизни называется. Вот они, конофес, как традиция. Вот у тебя ты хозяин, да, вот семьи там это, где это рода называется там это Сал, Делес, Ковчаки, все эти. Ну, их много же. Панаси там, Теленгит, казах, хоть кто был. Только у других нету так, как конофес. У казахов нету. Но был, но такой нету. У них свой обряд, свой это традиция, свой быт. Видишь? А у нас передается, видишь, У меня отец тоже такой был. Отец вот Сал, вот мать Ковчак, естественно, бабушка местная, мать местная отсюда, Ковчаки. Вот. И она передается по наследству. Видишь, она тоже стареет, это конопес. Потом его надо по-новому делать.
The whole life of the Altai people is permeated with reverence for the surrounding world. The association with nature is reflected in the beliefs and ideas, where the apotheosis occupies a prominent place, where there are the elements aimed at protecting the flora and fauna.
У нас тут все живое, и даже вот речка, которая протекает, да, она тоже имеет своих хозяев, своего духа. Даже травы, даже цветы, которые растут, они тоже живые, они тоже имеют свой какой-то дух, да, вот у нас так вообще, так говорят, что все, что живое, все, что растет, имеет свой дух, своего хозяина.
The ecological knowledge of the Altaians is passed down from the generation to the generation through the rituals and traditions.
Сушеная черника, сушеная калина, сушеный лист подорожника.
According to them, the surrounding world exists in harmony with the human. The worship of the sky, the veneration of natural objects, mountains, rivers, lakes, trees, is an integral part of the rituals which have survived to this day.
Для алтайца природа – это в первую очередь одухотворенное, живое, тонкое существо, у которого есть свои запреты, ограничения. И также можно сказать, что Алтай для каждого жителя Алтая – это, как я сказала, сакральная тонкая вещь, это его духовность, это его душа, это то, что его связывает и с его предками, и с его потомством, с внуками, и со всеми близкими родственниками. И получается, Алтай – это как некая единая природа, которая тесно связана с жизнью, с бытом человека, который живет на этой земле.
According to the worldview of the Altaians, the surrounding world is a single whole and a person in it is only a particle of the universe. The natural conditions where the Altai ethnos developed had a strong influence on the formation of its culture and traditions. Arrived at the Altai Geopark, it is important for a traveler to remember that he is a guest, to respect the sacred place of the Altaians, respect local traditions and customs, enjoy learning a new culture for himself through the interaction with the indigenous population. Today, the Altaians hospitably welcome inquisitive travelers to their land, treat them with national dishes, sharing traditional beliefs and the sacred nature of this amazing region.